So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about chapter 8.3, which is multiplying binomials. Okay, the objective for today is to multiply two binomials or a binomial by a trinomial. Okay, we're in A1.4.2 for our standard. All right, first we're going to use this by the distributive property. So the first problem here is what is a simpler form of 2x plus 4 in that binomial. Then we're going to multiply it by the other binomial, 3x minus 7. Okay, so we're talking about how to multiply these two binomials together. So using the distributive property, we're going to take this first term and we're going to multiply it by this binomial. So we're going to break it down and write it as a monomial times a binomial. So then after I do that, I'm going to take this second term and I'm going to multiply it by that second binomial. Okay, so really I'm just using the distributive property here. First term times that one, this term times that one. Okay. As I do that, I'm going to use the distributive property one more time. So it's actually twice that we're going through this. So I'm going to take this 2x times the 3x, and I get 6x, and add the exponent, 6x squared. And then I'm going to take the 2 times the negative 7, to get a negative 14x. I'm going to put my plus sign here, and I'm going to put the same thing on the second set. I'm going to take 4 times 3 and get my 12x, and then I'm going to take my 4 times the negative 7 and get the negative 28. Now at this point I just want to add like terms. So I see 6x squared. There's no other like terms as we've discussed in previous sections. So it's just 6x squared. But here I have the negative 14x and the 12x, which becomes a negative 2x. Okay, so I had negative 14 gained 12. I'm still short 2 there. And then negative 28. Okay, and there would be my multiplication of a binomial times a binomial. Okay, so it first starts by essentially we're taking this term as the binomial and distributing it into both the two terms inside there. So we're taking that entire binomial and distributing it into the 2x and the 4. And then we're taking those individual monomials and distributing it through from there. Okay, so look at got it number 1 here. Using the distributive property, go ahead and do that one. Again, I'll put the answers at the end of the videos. Okay, problem 3, we're going to skip problem 2. We're not going to do it by the tables. We're actually going to go right into what we call FOIL. Okay, so first we're going to define what FOIL is. So you might want to note this. FOIL means first. Okay, this is like the first terms. Okay, then we're going to use O, which is the outer terms, and then we're going to use the I, which is the inner terms, and then we're going to use the L, which is the last terms. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now as I write this up, I'm going to make this a little bigger. So we have 5x minus 3, and we have 2x plus 1. Now when we go first to the first terms, what we're going to do, it's kind of like the distributive property, it's just in a different format than the previous problem we just did. The first is taking the first term, which is 5x, and multiplying it to the first term in the second set. So what you'll notice is it's first and first, hence we call it the first terms F in FOIL. Okay, when I do that, I get 5x times 2x, which gives me 10x squared. Okay, so then I move on and I go into the outer. Okay, the outer ones is to take the terms on the outside of the binomial. So you have 2 outside, 2 inside. That's what we're going to be looking at. So I'm going to take this 5x, I'm going to run it all the way to the 1, and I'm going to take 5x times 1, which would be outside of the binomials. Okay, 5x times 1 is a 5x. Okay, after I do that, I move on to the I, which is the inner. Okay, so the inner would be now the inside of the terms, of the binomials. So I'm going to take the negative 3 and multiply it to the 2x, which gives me a negative 6x. And then we go to the last, which is L, which just means take the last terms in the two binomials, and we're going to multiply those. So negative 3 times 1 gives me negative 3. So again, we have the first terms, we have the outer terms, we have the inner terms, and then we have the last terms in terms of the binomial. Okay, once we're there, now it's just simplifying. So it's 10x squared. Well, that's the only term that's x squared, so we write that. 5x minus 6x, well, that means we are negative, not negative 6, excuse me, had 6 on my mind. Negative 1x. Okay, and then we have the negative 3. Now again, you might want to go back and watch that because this is going to be a very big ingredient as we go through, but that's what the process we're gonna do. So this will be your multiplication. Okay. So we look at this set here. Just to go through one more to give you another look, and then I'll have you do B and C if we do these two together. So I'm going to take the 3x, I'm going to multiply it with the x, that's my f. Okay, so 3x times x, that gives me 3x squared. I'm also going to take the 3x and I'm going to multiply that with the 2, that's my outside, so 3x times 2 is the plus 6x. Take my negative 4, multiply it with the x. Okay, this will be outside, this would be inner. So that would give me a negative 4x. And then I'm going to take that to the last and get my negative 8. So I'm going to get negative 3x squared. Well, that's simplified. I get 6x minus 4x, which means that I have a positive 2x's, and then I have my minus 8. Okay, so we have now officially foiled that together. Now you can go ahead and do B and C. Nothing changes in this one. I know you see a square there. You might be getting kind of scared. Just remember, add the exponents as you go through. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop there for this video, and we'll come back for part B, and then we'll look at the answers to those.